Hello everyone, Time to Grind here, and today I wanted to talk about Among Us. And Among Us is a game that has been out for about 2 years already, and it seems to have recently blown up in popularity, and I finally had a chance to try it out with some friends, and I wanted to make a 2020 review for it, as I know a ton of things have been added and changed, and I also just wanted to show the three of you guys that haven't heard of this game what all the hype is about. So Among Us is a social deception game really similar to Trouble in Terrorist Town or some of the physical games like Werewolf or Avalon. So you start out in a spaceship with a group of 4 to 10 players, and normally every single person except maybe 1 or 2 are crewmates, and they'll have several tasks that they have to complete throughout the spaceship, and the rest are imposters. And the imposter's goal is to kill the entire crew without getting caught. So they can just kill any player, but normally you would want to kill players that are isolated so you won't get caught, obviously. And this is because whenever someone discovers a dead body, they can report it and the game immediately goes to a voting phase. And I should mention here that when playing this game, you are not allowed to communicate with the other players. So if you're playing on Discord with some friends like I was, we all have to mute ourselves in Discord, but whenever the voting phase starts, we're all allowed to unmute ourselves for the duration of the vote and kind of have conversations about who we want to vote on. And obviously, if you're dead, you're not allowed to say anything for the rest of the game. And the game even tells you explicitly that you aren't allowed to communicate during the normal game, so you technically could cheat if you wanted to with your friends, but that would kind of ruin a huge part of the game. So whenever you get to the voting phase, everyone is allowed to talk for a little bit about who they think the imposter is. And everybody then votes, and whoever gets the majority of the votes gets ejected from the spaceship and killed. So if it's the imposter, then the crewmates win, but if the imposter is still alive, then you all go back to the ship and continue the game. And you can also vote to skip if you don't really have enough info on who you think the imposter is. And so if you're the imposter, you're really trying to kill people in isolated areas, like I said, and kind of just blend in with the crew. You can also use a system of vents as the imposter, but you have to make sure you don't get caught coming in or out of a vent because you're the only ones that can go through them. So if someone sees you doing it, they'll know that you are obviously the imposter. You can also start sabotages like cutting out the lights and turning off the oxygen in certain areas to cause chaos and kind of force the crewmates to perform certain tasks and go to certain areas and kind of plan on that, kill them when they're, isolated and everything like that. And as a crewmate, like I said, you have a bunch of tasks you need to do all over the ship. But what's really cool about this is every little task is kind of like a little mini game. So you may need to shoot 20 asteroids from in front of the ship, or you could connect broken wires in like an electricity box. And once everyone in the crew does all their tasks, you instantly win if the imposter obviously hasn't won already. And so overall, I think this is easily one of the best social deception games I have ever played for a multitude of reasons. Firstly, I love that the crewmates actually have something to do, and it's not just them waiting around in groups waiting for the, attackers or imposters or traitors or whatever they're called in the game to kind of strike. The mini games add a lot to the game, and it gives an excuse for the crewmates to all kind of separate from each other instead of grouping up in fear. And also, if you're a crewmate and you get killed, you still kind of need to complete your tasks as a ghost in order for the alive crewmates to win. So you still have to actually do something to let the crewmates win the game, which I really like. It's not like you're just out of the game fully. I also really love the voting system that happens every time someone tries to report a body, as it helps the game's pacing and it kind of gives you ample time to discuss and try to trick people if you're the imposter. Also, the game has 3 completely different maps. So you have the spaceship map, you also have kind of like a space station map, and then you have like a planet-based map. And so every single map is different from each other because obviously the layouts of the map themselves are different, but they also have different tasks to complete on all of them. They have different vent systems from each other, and they also just look decently different from each other as well. And so they really help add a lot of variety into the game, which is nice. Another huge draw to the game is that the host of each game can customize the rules of the game to a really impressive detail. They can change things like the amount of imposters, how long the meeting times is, how fast the players run, how much vision the crew and how much vision the imposter has, the kill cooldown of the imposter, how many tasks must be completed, and much more. So once you play this game for a while, you'll start realizing what your group of friends like playing with and kind of what rule sets. And so when I joined my friends that had already played played for like 40 hours at this point each. They all had a super balanced and kind of fun rule set that they all agreed on that was really balanced for each amount of players. And then obviously, you know, if it's super overwhelming, which to me it was as well, and I didn't have to worry about it, you know, because someone else was hosting. But if you're the one hosting and you're overwhelmed, just stay on the default, and, you know, maybe you might eventually start experimenting with things like, okay, well, you know, the trader never wins. Well, maybe we'll make it where there's more tasks that the, you know, crewmates have to complete. And you can kind of like experiment with what works with your group of friends, and I really, really like that. The art style is also really cute and kind of like cartoonified, and you know, it's nothing like groundbreaking or anything like that, but it has a certain charm to it, and I really appreciate it. And also something that's really awesome about this game is that it's on mobile and it has crossplay. So if you and your friends love this game a ton and can't stop playing it, and you all hang out in person, you can all download it on your phones and play it in person, which I think is really, really awesome. And so overall, I am really happy that I discovered Among Us. Even if it was like 2 years late, you know, it's better late than never, you know what I mean? And, you know, if you're a fan of social deception games, you definitely should check out Among Us, because I think it is, you know, one of the best. Though I will say a lot of you guys probably have already, you know, played this game or heard of it. I'm just kind of late to the party. But if you guys have played Among Us, which most of you guys probably have, or just from watching gameplay, I would love to know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, then consider leaving a like down below and subscribing to see more game reviews. I review about 2 to 3 games a week, just on a wide variety of games, so subscribe and ring that bell like all the big boy YouTubers say. It really helps out a lot. Also, if you can't get enough of me, you can check out my podcast Media Crash, where each episode we talk about a different game or movie genre or what, you know, you name it. And if you guys are grinding on some games of Among Us in the future, I wish you all the best, and see you guys next time.